Hello everyone and welcome to my presentation on Stardom and Film Theory. During this talk, I'll be discussing stardom, giving examples of stars within this system and their subsequent star image within Hollywood. I will also be drawing upon Richard Dyer's stars as specific images concept and the strengths and limitations of his idea by drawing on other academic peer-reviewed materials that debate the way we view actors and actresses. The final point I'll be covering during this presentation is using Johnny Depp's acting career as a case study to apply Dyer's theory. During the golden age of Hollywood between the 1920s and 1960s, the star system was a way to create, market and exploit stars in Hollywood films. This was more popular amongst promising young actors, which would help to create a name for them and also a persona. During this era of early filmmaking, the idea of fan culture was created because the public became increasingly more interested in the stars as opposed to the characters they portrayed on screen. Because of the stars' reputations, studio executives, public relations staff and agents worked together with the actor to create a star persona and cover up incidents or lifestyles that would damage the star's public image. Being part of the star system wasn't all positive, as actors had very strict contracts with the Hollywood studios. The things they had control over included choosing which films they were cast in, putting actors through rigorous training, and arrange photo shoots, interviews, and press conferences. Due to the growing number of stars terminating their contracts because of the ever-growing list of demands in their contract, this led to the downfall of the star system until it finished in the 1960s. Some early examples of stardom and actors and actresses within the studio system include Marilyn Monroe, who began starring in films with minor roles after a short modelling career during World War II and had a couple of short-lived contracts with 20th Century Fox and Columbia Pictures before officially signing with Fox under a new contract in late 1950. Next is Judy Garland. Judy started performing in vaudeville with her sister from a young age and was signed to Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer during her teenage years and was well known for her role as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Judy was one of the first actresses to leave the star system due to the pressures of stardom and a somewhat restrictive contract with MGM that lasted for 15 years. And the final example is Rock Hudson. He became well known as an actor for his role in Magnificent Obsession during the year 1954 and featured in a series of films with co-star Doris Day, with these being Pillow Talk, Lover Come Back and Send Me No Flowers. Rock Hudson was a well-known part of the star system as a heartthrob and was known by many in Hollywood during his lifetime that he was gay and became one of the first celebrities to openly admit that he was AIDS positive. This shows the changing times of Hollywood and changed the way we view stars, as it was realised they are people just like the rest of society. Renée Celeste brings up an important point in her article titled Screen Idols, The Tragedy of Falling Stars in the Journal of Popular Film and Television. She says that the star in star studies is not an individual at all, but a system of signs, a social construction flattened into a text that has multiple meanings and that can be read as cultural product. This is an incredibly interesting quote from her piece of writing and sums up the idea of a star image, which simplifies what stars actually are within society, a social construction. Before explaining the premise of star images and using a case study to explain Dyer's work, it's important to note the chapter in his book Stars, which details stars as specific images, and the four main points that he believes makes a star image. These four types of media text are promotion, publicity, film, and criticism and commentaries. Afterwards, I will evaluate the strengths and limitations of his work. The first of the four types of media text is promotion. According to Dyer, promotion is material concerned directly with the star in question, ads in which stars endorse a given merchandise, public appearances, material promoting the star in a particular film, hoardings, magazines, ads, trailers, etc. This material is directly associated with the promotion of a star and is part of the planned creation of their image. The promotion is able to create the star image of an actor/actress purely of his own accord, as the marketing can push aspects of their acting to fit with the type of role in which they've been cast. Sometimes, with stars who were typecast, i.e. seem to hold the same character type for most, if not all, of their films, they become so well known for playing certain character tropes that it then makes it difficult to break the mold they fit so well. For example, Hugh Grant with his bumbling, lack of sexual confidence British gentleman, Liam Neeson and his save-the-day action hero, and Jennifer Aniston as the wealthy, hopeless romantic. Dyer explains the second type of media text as being theoretically distinct from promotion, in that it is not, or does not appear to be, deliberate image-making. It is what the press finds out, what the star lets slip in an interview, and is found in the press and magazines. Publicity can potentially be damaging for a star's career, but can also sometimes give it a new lease of life. In some cases, if certain things are brought to light, this can potentially halt all future filming that they might have been hired for. Publicity is also the place where tensions form between the star as a person and their star image, as tabloids can contradict the former, and it becomes crucial to how they are represented within Hollywood. Films are an important aspect of a star's career, as this text is most responsible for their celebrity within Hollywood. The star is also a phenomenon of cinema, and there are instances of stars whose films may actually be less important than other aspects of their career. For example, a star's death, marriage, or creation of a family can take precedence in the public's opinion over the film roles that they should be more famous for. In Dyer's writing about stars as specific images, he gives the example of the death of Marilyn Monroe, Judy Garland, and the early retirement of Greta Garbo. An untimely or controversial death or retirement often adds notoriety or poignancy to an artist's work, which can then lead to increased popularity. The final media text, according to Dyer, refers to what was said about the star in terms of appreciation or interpretation by critics and writers, and is found in film reviews, books on films, and indeed in almost any kind of writing dealing, fictitiously or otherwise, with the contemporary scene. These writings that most commonly relate to the star's performance usually appear after the initial promotion and filmmaking. Criticism and commentary sit on the side of the audience who are the consumers of the media text, rather than on the side of the industry who are the producers of said media text, and they often take on a widely held, pre-existing opinion or view about a star. In his chapter on stars as specific images, Dyer poses the idea of structured polysemy, and says that it's the multiple but finite meanings and effects that a star image signifies, and he believes that the signs that make up a star's polysemy are not only derived from the roles they play in films, but from any media text that they appear in, which, in a more simplistic explanation, is the way that an image can cohere whilst being multifaceted and changing over time and are not fixed on one specific idea. I will now discuss Johnny Depp's career in relation to Dyer's theory. After Depp's role in 21 Jump Street and the becoming of a teen idol, he was then seen as a new type of male film star, but he protested against the image it gave him and tried to create a new public persona with his subsequent films. In the years to come, he chose more independent productions where he took on numerous quirky roles that often concealed his appearance, such as Edward Scissorhands. And these roles are how he achieved his stardom. Having been part of independent films over the first decade of his career, his biggest break came from him being cast as Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, which had earned over $4.5 billion from its release in 2003 all the way until the present day. In terms of promotion, Depp has not been typecast into one character type consistently over the course of his career, as he started off by making varied role choices such as his performance in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. However, since his breakthrough role as Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, subsequent roles seem to follow this character trope, such as Mordecai in Mordecai, Willy Wonka in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland, and Sweeney Todd in Sweeney Todd. When thinking about the publicity of Depp's career, Kim McNamara's research into the publication of celebrities' private lives and the reconfiguration of public space, she perfectly sums up why stars are so important to the public, as she reminds the reader that celebrities' private lives have always been fodder for mainstream and entertainment news. As Dyer states in the section titled Film, it's the main reason why the actor/actress leaps into stardom. Depp's films have therefore catapulted his career into what we know it as today, and has made him somewhat of a heartthrob, before the recent downfall of his career, where many loyal fans have most likely been lost. Criticism has unfortunately been part of Depp's career in terms of his recent messy divorce, as mentioned before, but also because of accusations of cultural appropriation due to him being cast as a Native American in the 2013 film The Lone Ranger. As highlighted by this type of media text in relation to the star image, the criticism of Johnny Depp definitely takes the side of the audience, as this is the side where the flaws of a star can be seen more clearly than on the side of the industry. Considering that Richard Dyer's work was written over 20 years ago, there are still some aspects of his work that are accurate and can still be understood by a modern audience. There are also some limitations that need to be addressed in order to fully evaluate his concept. First, the limitations. Because of the outdated original creation of this concept, it forces the audience to re-evaluate Dyer's categories and how certain things within society have changed during the time since his published work. One of the main things that can be noted is the lack of a social media presence and the use of the internet that can influence the way the public view stars. For example, Marilyn Manson, who has recently come under fire in the press for sexual assault and battery accusations, and Armie Hammer for his supposed cannibalism claims by a former flame. Other limitations of Dyer's writing are within the social media umbrella and overlooks the way that stars can use social media to reclaim their tarnished image that could have potentially been brought down by publicity. For all the limitations of Dyer's work, there are accompanying strengths that are worth mentioning. The four media texts used in this chapter can be relatable to a 21st century reader and discusses ideas that create a strong basis for thinking about stardom in Hollywood. Dyer was right in stating that the promotion and publicity was how the public knew about the stars, as this was filtered through mainstream media and what the studios wanted them to know. Back when his writing was a new concept, there was a lot more control over the star images in comparison to present day, where stars are free agents. It's a strong writing about how stardom is created, and by relating it to a case study, as done in the previous slides, proves how accurate it still is, but also highlights the limitations. Thank you for listening to my presentation.